Ein bisschen weiter ran oder so?
Schön.
Schön.
Kuschelrock. Rote Lappe.
Fucking big microphone that is.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a good quality effort from him.
We'll find out later.
Yeah. Okay. Alright, how is your whole tour going so far?
Well, I believe we're just entering the second week, and so far it's been good. Yeah.
Where did you play? Did you play other countries?
No, just German shows so far.
Just German shows?
Yeah, we leave for Amsterdam tomorrow, so that'll be the first out of Germany show.
Did you do like a US tour straight before?
We did, yeah, one part we did US and Canada with Good Riddance, and then we did another 2-week thing around the west half of America, because we didn't have much time before we were coming out here. So what we're doing is, when we get back, we're taking 2 weeks off, and then we're doing the U.S. tour, and the complete U.S. and Canada.
Oh, you also played Canada?
Yeah. It's better to do it that way, because America is so big to tour in that if you're already there, you might as well just, tour it.
What's the difference between like playing in the U.S. and in the States and in Canada?
The Canadian shows are very similar to the European shows, where people are a lot more concentrated on just having a good time than with fighting and acting really stupid.
Is it like normally this way in the U.S.?
In some parts, yeah. In New York and Los Angeles in particular, or just Southern California as a whole. Yeah, people act, really, really stupid. We're out here. This is our 5th tour here. We have never seen one fight. Everybody just wants to have a good time and hang out. And that's what we're about.
Why do you think that people are acting so stupid over there?
Those are pretty violent cities, New York and Los Angeles. So that's it kind of reflects in how people are at shows. It could be anybody's show. People they get drunk and they start fighting with each other.
Let me ask you a question about your new album, Images Everything. How's the title meant, and was there any personal experience that inspired you to write a song about this subject?
It's just, it was just kind of a play on the whole commercialization of the punk scene in America. It's become very, people are concentrating a lot more. As far as bands are concerned, people are concentrating a lot more on their image than actually writing their songs. And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, people can look however they want. It's fine with me. But if they're in a band saying this message, of whatever their punk rock view is, it's kind of better to concentrate on your message than the clothes you wear or your hairstyle or something. So it was just, lightly making fun of that kind of stuff, but there wasn't any kind of like animosity about it.
How came you got Vandal's guitarist Warren Fitzgerald to produce your new album?
Yeah. We had known him just, because he lives in the Los Angeles area, and the label asked if we would mind if he was involved somehow with the record, and I didn't mind at all, because I think he's a great guitar player, and he's a nice guy, and he knows a lot about recording, so it worked out.
Do you have any other like contacts with the bands that are also on your new label?
Yeah, we talk to them here and there, but not a lot, because everybody's on tour at a different time. So when this band's around, the other bands are gone, and vice versa.
Does it bother you that people always compare you with bands like Poison Idea or Apartment 3G?
No, not really. I noticed on the first tour that we did here, people called us the Little Brothers of Poison Idea, which I thought was funny, but no, it doesn't bother me at all. I mean, I think Poison Idea are a great band, but I don't think that they were as much of an influence on us as people think. I would say that somebody like the Germs had more of an influence on us than Poison Idea did, but I think they're a great band.
Where do you normally take your influences from then?
Everything from Southern California surf music to old school punk to new school punk. It's whatever, as far as what I listen to, whatever, if a band has something that I can agree with, it doesn't matter what kind of band it is, then you know, that's just what I listen to.
What were your experiences concerning the German label that released 2 of your records?
Do It Records is a great label. I mean, you know, Thomas, he really helped us out. I mean, if it wasn't for him, our first couple of tours, you know, probably wouldn't have been as good as they were. So, but when, you know, the Nitro thing came around, he was very supportive and just said, go for it, you know. So we'll be running into him in Schweinfurt, I think, next week.
Did you do any records before this deal?
Before Do It? No, those were the records that they had been out in America for a while, but when he had contacted us, you know, we licensed all the old stuff to him.
Right.
He doesn't have the 7-inch stuff, just the full-length releases.
How is the current punk hardcore scene in LA? How would you describe it?
That's a question for you.
Say something.
Well, it's good, and yeah, I don't really know how to describe it. What would you?
I'd say things are changing.
Yeah,
it's not
changing.
It's not as Fat Records and Epitaph orientated anymore. I think it's kind of subdividing in a way where bands that the Fat Records and Epitaph bands, there's so many of them, and it's kind of become a little bit too similar to each other. So there's that scene, and then there's bands that are kind of going underground and not staying involved with the Epitaph type of stuff.
Well, I mean, what's about the audience like? Because like I ran to Total Chaos last year when they played in New York, and like they said, it's really violent over there. Like they said like that when punks from other towns come to LA, then there are always big fights. Like,
yeah, that's true. We played with them in Las Vegas about 4 months ago, I guess, and we were talking about that because the show in Las Vegas was a lot different than you know, when they play in Los Angeles or when we do. Yeah, it's, you know, anywhere out of Los Angeles, it's a little bit mellower. But yeah, it doesn't matter if they're Fat Records bands or if they're underground bands or if they're ska bands. It doesn't matter. There's always fights, no matter what.
well, the thing is, how do you cope with the violence? I mean, when you're playing, like,
well, we play there a lot less than we used to. We play there like every 6 months now because, yeah, it becomes quite a problem. And I think the whole scene in Los Angeles is just going through a big change. So it's better just to do one show every 6 months and just wait for the dust to settle and see where the whole punk scene is going to be in a year from now. I think it's going to be a lot different than the way it is right now.
what do you think is going to differ from now? Is it going to get better?
No, I think it's going to be a lot less commercial, and because the punk scene commercially, like as far as MTV and major radio is concerned, it's a lot less now. They're getting away from it, and I think by next year the fad of punk rock will be dead in America. So then everybody can get back to what we were doing before the whole thing happened.
Yeah, sure.
I think bands will be better off, you know. The whole commercial thing kind of brought it to a new level, but it'll go back underground.
Is it different for you playing gigs over here in Europe concerning the audience, the whole atmosphere and so on?
I think the atmosphere is much better here because it's more of like a party at every show. You know, it's not, you know, we are the band and you are the audience type of, you know, thing, where in America it's expected to act that way. we never have been that way. But a lot of bands, it's just they expect people, you know, to be that way with them. But we like being a little bit more in touch with people in the audience, so it's better here because everybody's drinking and having a good time, and it's a party.
Do you think it's because of the clubs that organize the gigs, or because of the audience?
I think it's both. Because, you know, we've played at a couple of really commercial places in Germany anyway, that it's kind of similar to back home, where there's a lot of security and they're, you know, not being very nice with people, and that causes problems. You know, it's better, you know, out here just for people just to do their own thing.
I've heard that in LA there was also Chaos Days supposed to happen a few years ago, like the ones that take place in Germany every year. Have you ever heard of Chaos Days before?
Out here, yeah. In America, I don't know how well that would go. I think Los Angeles, I think the riot was just their one big chaos day for.
I thought the whole thing was cancelled because of the cops. Like they all stormed in and then everyone let it go, and that was it.
Could be. The police are much different out here. The police in America are very intolerant. Yeah, if you were in New York, you know that they tolerate zero from people. So, yeah, if they did plan a Chaos Days, I'm sure it wouldn't go very well.
What did you hear about the Chaos Days over there, like in Hannover?
I heard it was pretty crazy. I saw a little bit of it on TV in America, but they didn't show very much. But yeah, somebody told me that Total Chaos were there in the middle of that whole thing.
No, they were also playing a gig, and that was
on their first tour out here, and I was laughing because I could just imagine the look on their faces when they see this big riot happening. But yeah, you know, it's kind of crazy. During May Day, we were driving through Hamburg, and there was a big riot going on. And at that time, we were touring in a van that used to be a police van, but the guy who bought it, you know, he just rents it out.
Changed it a bit, yeah.
Exactly. So we're driving through this riot in this police van, and the police are looking at us like, "Where did they get that?" And the rioters are looking at us like, "Where did they get that?" So they weren't sure if they were going to throw rocks at it, and the police didn't know if they should arrest us. It was pretty weird.
But I mean, you got another number plate like from foreign countries, so you were lucky, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So it was weird.
Now the thing was, like, I've heard like that in America, in all the newspapers, there were only like rumors spread about like Chaos Days and some Nazis just marching, and that was it. Like, total misinformed thing and all that.
No, I think whoever has heard of it in America, the few people who have, like in the punk scene, people know about it. But no, I don't think people think that it's a Nazi thing at all. I mean, they see the Nazi stuff on TV, but Chaos Days, I think, is more of like, you know, more of like a crusty punk gathering.
What do you think of the so-called punk revival of the 1990s?
Well, it was interesting to say the least. I saw a lot of reunions, and some of them were good. Yeah, everybody came back. So some of them were good, a lot of them were bad, but I don't know. Those bands that came back now, I'll guarantee you they won't be around next year. What do you think?
I agree, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Probably the best band that I saw out of that whole thing was the Descendants. They were very good. We played with them on a few shows in California, and they were really good.
Alright, just a question that I think you've heard 1,000 times, like, where did you get the name Jockhead's Revenge from?
I flipped a coin. No, it was just from lack of a better name. You know, it just
what you couldn't find a decent name or?
Well, we were discussing it, and the names that they were coming up with weren't very good, and I came up with that one, and they liked it, and I really didn't at first, but it took me a while to
it's not a deeper meaning in it or something?
No, we don't have any deeper meaning about anything.
Any final words, comments?
It's good to be back in Germany.
Alright, that's it. Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Good. Sorry.
Und er ist nun mal zufällig Bassist bei No Doubt. Dass